guys, Alex here from Claremont, California. If everything went well, what you guys saw here at the beginning was a clip from a place called Bronson Canyon, maybe a mile away from Amoeba Records in the Hollywood Hills. And then at the end I try to zoom in. It's the front of the Hollywood sign, but it's from that canyon. It's sort of occluded by some of the hills there. And there's that interesting little rock circle there. I was there today. But anyway, on to the Great Dig. Fantastic meetup. Of course, you guys, I'm sure, have seen the videos from Sherv, Jim, and Dave. Hopefully more to come from Andrew and Danny. Just an amazing time, and just so humbled and just grateful to meet all of those guys in person. You know, it's the first time that I've met anyone from the VC in person, and after, I mean, I think obviously after a year of quarantine especially, I think it was, and everything just kind of lining up perfectly, it really was doubly special because of that. You know, I think a lot of us had been kind of cooped up, you know, for a long time, and you know, this is one of the very first, you know, real social and, you know, interactions that we've had with friends. And, you know, I think, you know, and especially after last week, I feel comfortable that to call you know, these guys friends. An amazing time. Conversations, you know, were just amazing, and you know, the records were just kind of the cherry on top for the whole proceedings. Yeah, I'll show you guys what I got here. I'll start with the 3 records that I got on the Wednesday before the Friday Dig at Amoeba, which was at Glasshouse Records. You know, Glasshouse, unfortunately, you know, it seems to not be what it used to be. The curator, Alex, is opening his own store in LA, and I think, you know, most of his efforts are towards, you know, finding records for his own store. And so, yeah, the last several times I've been to Glasshouse, while still, you know, a well above average store, and one that I would recommend to anyone, especially since, you know, 95% of the records are used, which is fantastic. Yeah, it's just not what it used to be. That said, I did find 3 really cool records. This one, which I was looking for, from the French group Urban Sax, led by Gilbert Artman of Lard Free as well. This is kind of a later one. I'm not real familiar with it. Actually, I haven't spun it. This was recorded in 1982. Original French press of this one. The large ensemble of primarily saxophones, but also on this one, chorus and percussions. Really look forward to spinning this one. Urban Sax. Definitely check that one out. Really cool stuff. This one I grabbed. I asked Sherv if he knew anything about this one. ECM I'd never seen. I love Enrico Rava on the trumpet. It was from 1975. Features Abercrombie on guitar, Paulette Danielson on bass, and John Christensen on drums. Sherv said yes, recommended. He said it's got some Miles Davis in a Silent Way type vibes. Look forward to spinning this one as well. There's Rava. Cool. And one I've been looking for a while, actually, an early record from Peter Michael Hamel, German keys player primarily. I think his debut was on Vertigo, actually, a very tough one to find, which I'm still looking for. There's also, I think this is the second or third one on the German Virgo label. It's called Nada. Yeah, really happy to find this one. I did spin this one. Really nice, excellent ambient, sort of folky krautrock stuff. And then of course the Amoeba stuff. I picked up I think seven records. Oh, let me grab something real quick. Oh, sorry about that. I actually grabbed this today. Since I was in the area, I popped into Amoeba real quick. I didn't buy anything, but I grabbed this on the way out, which is kind of the layout of the new store. And you know, one thing that's quite notable, and it's even more emphasized when you see this is how much of the floor space is actually, you know, dedicated to vinyl, right? So you have the largest portion, of course, rock, but then you have much smaller here, sort of the jazz, classical, you know, world music, and then you have some areas here with the soul, hip hop, and electronic. But overall, I mean, that's maybe like 30% of the floor space. 70% of the store is either merch, of course, the great book section, but you know, half the store is DVD and DVDs and CDs. You know, which is a little bit surprising, but certainly, you know, these guys have been in business for a very long time, so you know, my guess is that these guys make incredible margins on, you know, used movies and CDs, and you know, so I think the floor space very much reflects that. You know, that said, you know, so happy that the store was able to relocate, you know, that it's alive and well and going to thrive in this new spot. But certainly the floor space dedicated to vinyl is much reduced here, which is good and bad. I mean, you know, in a way, you know, digging there's a little bit easier, a little bit less intimidating. The other nice thing is there's a lot of natural light in this new location, which at the old store there was zero natural light. So it give you a little bit of that feeling of being in a casino in Vegas, where you have no idea what time of day it is. Again, good and bad, because it was kind of nice to get lost in there and lose track of time. But anyway, on to the finds from Amoeba, and I will share some of the footage that I had from there as well. The first one is this great record from Todd Dorkstader, electronic American pioneer. This is from 1967 on the Owl label. This was up on, so that, you know, they have a lot of the rare records up on certain parts of the wall, and then since they don't have as much wall space as they used to, some of the rare records are on columns, and so a lot of these, like the classical records, and I think it shows up in the footage, are up on these columns basically. So a little kind of hard to see, and you know, you really have to kind of pay attention to how some of those things are organized to even see these things. But yeah, really happy to grab this. I think this is the only the first thing I have on the Owl label. Just seminal modern classical / electronic record. Traditional instrumentation, but you know, processed with electronics and tape. Very, very incredible record. This is called V Music by Giancarlo and Nicolai. One of those records that, appears on your want list and you have no idea why. It's on the UK Leo Records label. It's like I think it's like a percussion based sort of experimental improv record. It was really cheap, so it was on my want list. I snagged it. Look forward to spinning that one. This is a really nice find here, an Italian sort of library record from the 70s, from 1975 originally. There's a really nice reissue, an Italian label on sort of clear-ish opaque vinyl. The artist is Daniela Casa, and like I said, just really awesome. I think all the tracks are 3 minutes or less. Experimental library music out of Italy. Really happy to find this one. The originals are insanely difficult. So, what's playing in the background is this one, which I was really happy to find from Seafield. It's called Chibox, I guess, from 1996. And a real departure from kind of their earlier records. I don't know if it'll. Well, let me flip it real quick. I don't know how well you'll hear that, but a much darker affair, I think, than his earlier stuff. Which is maybe a little bit more sort of on the psychedelic side. Almost reminds me a little bit of maybe like a William Basinski in some parts. This being from 1996, maybe a little bit of that Otaker feel, maybe a little bit of Aphex Twin. There are some like classical music samples as well, which is why it reminds me, I think, a little bit of William Basinski as well. But excellent stuff. Dark ambient from Seafield. This was another one that was kind of up on one of those columns. Glad I saw it. And then I think the last three are I think Sheriff mentioned that as well. They must have had a pretty significant collection of old stock Okora records, and I grabbed three of them. This one, an early one. This is Okora number 29, Nomade du Niger. An original copy from, I think, like 67 or something like that. It's a beautiful gatefold here with a little sort of mini pamphlet, some incredible photography as well. Really happy to pick this one up, and I think I'd been sort of really looking for Okora stuff. Never see it out in the wild. Have picked up a couple. Had them shipped from Europe, but when I saw these, and a lot of these were actually sealed, perfect shape. So real happy to find those. Here's another one. This one is another sealed original. It's Turkish L'Art Vivant de Talip Ozkan. That's Talip right there. So yeah, this one is all of his compositions and interpretations of traditional Turkish folk songs, essentially. Yeah, this one's outstanding. I like that one. This one is another Turkish one that I picked up. This is Music Sophie, Volume 1. And this one, yeah, it's religious music, a lot of chanting, a lot of vocals, definitely has that real spiritual vibe. This one is like an early reissue. A lot of these are sort of reissued and like put out in the late 70s and then reissued in the early 80s. But again, this one is like, I don't think it was sealed, but it's like in perfect condition. There were a couple that I left there. I know Sheriff picked up a couple. Kind of wish I'd grabbed them all, but only so much money to spend sometimes. There were a couple of Burundi ones, not Burundi. Can't remember which African country. There were a couple of them that looked really cool as well. And then along those lines here, I picked up this book from that I'd been aware of. I think Chris Cole had sent me a link when this first was announced. So there's an amazing book documenting the work of Charles Duvall, the primary photographer and field recorder for the Acora label. Just an amazing document with all of his photography. There's a really long interview as well, and then there's also a bit of a discography as well for the label with some of the cover art, and also includes a couple of CDs. Definitely check this out. It's on. It was published by Sublime Frequencies, which I'm pretty sure puts out music as well. I think this is like $50, which I think is kind of a bargain for something of this magnitude. And that came with a little pamphlet here, kind of explaining what's contained within. But the label originally founded by Pierre Schaeffer, a Frenchman, 1958, one of the pioneers of musique concrète, and basically outlining the photography from 1959 to 74, and the Acora catalog from 64 to 73. Beautiful stuff. And then finally a gift from Sherv that he picked up for me at Amoeba. This is a message from the ghetto. The group is the Sons of Truth. This is from 1972, and really nice reissue. Actually, it's got like a nice tip-on jacket. It sounds really good. I spun this once, really enjoyed it. Thank you, Sherv. Definitely will be holding on to this copy permanently. Really enjoy it. It's essentially like a gospel. I think it was issued sort of as a gospel record, but I think the label was like a Stax subsidiary, was trying to push for kind of a new direction in gospel, and so this is as you can tell from these guys, something a lot funkier and a lot more sort of soul oriented than typical or more traditional soul music, or gospel music, I should say. Here's the original master tape there in the box. So thank you, Sheriff. Really awesome. So yeah, that's it. I'll leave you guys with some footage here. See what I can piece together. Take care, guys. Hopefully we can make this, a yearly pilgrimage to Amoeba or wherever else. Take care, guys. Get it.
I am not the type of dog that leave
What you got there, Dave?
Rico Rava.
Oh, nice one. I don't know that one.